What's up, my freaky fear family? As always, it's me, Fear the GreatWhite. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a like, leave me a comment, share it with your friends. And if you really like it, click that subscribe button to join this freaky fear family, and you can be as freaky as the rest of us. But today, I have for you a nice little story written by my friend Devil Jack called River Mystery. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is River Mystery. It was June. I had some vacation time saved up, so I decided to rent a cabin by the river for a week. The quiet and peaceful downtime always helped recharge my batteries, and it was a wonderful break from apartment living in the city. I picked a nice single-bedroom cabin by the river in the Smoky Mountains. The place had got its name from the fog that often rolled through. It was like the forest was pushed up into the clouds, the way the mist would creep through. It was beautiful, but sometimes a little spooky. The whole world could be gone, and you would be none the wiser in this cocoon of fog. I spent the week reading some novels I'd been meaning to get to, and just relaxing as much as possible. The cabin had a screened-in porch that overlooked the river. I would sit there every morning, reading my book over breakfast and coffee. The place also had a hot tub where I'd end my day with a glass of sparkling wine and watch the sunset before heading to bed. It was on my last night in the cabin that I accidentally fell asleep in the hot tub. I had drank a bit more than usual, and the water had been the perfect temperature, so I had drifted off. I was woken up with the sound of splashing and cries for help coming from the river. It took me a minute to get reoriented with my surroundings. Never a smart move to sleep in a hot tub, especially if you've been drinking. It's like resting in a boiling pot. Luckily, the tub hadn't been too hot that night, but I still felt sick and overheated when I woke up. I stumbled to the side of the porch and threw up. I grabbed for a bottle of water and started drinking while wrapping myself in a robe. Then I heard the noise again. Help! Followed by the sound of splashing coming from the river. Some fog had rolled in, so I couldn't see the source of the noise from here. I stumbled inside and grabbed a flashlight from the closet. I tried to shake the feeling of sickness away, and then headed down towards the river path with some urgency. Someone was obviously in trouble, and unfortunately for them, my dazed ass was the only person around that could help them. I rushed down the path, cursing my stupidity for not grabbing a pair of shoes, as I stepped on several painful rocks and roots sticking up from the ground. Then I reminded myself that someone's life was in danger, and a stumped toe was as small potatoes in comparison. About halfway down the path, the splashing and yelling stopped. Had I taken too long to get there? Or had they made it to safety? I finally made it to the river's edge. This part of the river opened up into a calmer pool of water, and with the amount of fog and the fact that it was probably around midnight, I couldn't see all the way to the opposite riverbank, but I could see to about the middle of the pond-shaped area with my flashlight's help. I had gone swimming here earlier in the week, so I knew the shore had a very mild incline that suddenly dropped off to a much deeper area in the middle. When I scanned the surface of the river, I saw a body floating face down, out towards the area of the drop-off. The body was perfectly still, and it looked about the size of a 5 or 10-year-old child. I suddenly panicked. Had my slow, confused movements just cost a child its life? I quickly shed the robe so I would have something warm and dry to wrap the kid in when I got it back to the shore, and then I ran into the water. I was still hot from the hot tub, so that it felt like I had just jumped into ice water. My entire body started shivering as I pushed on towards the kid. Then, something weird happened. I saw the body pull further away towards the center of the river. Its movement was strange. Not like the waves I was making was pushing it away, but like something had pulled it a couple of feet further away from me. I slowed down, but then I thought that maybe I was just still dazed from being overheated and panicked. But then I saw it move again. Just like before, it pulled a few feet further away from me. I suddenly got the feeling that I was being lured out into the deeper part of the river. I stopped my pursuit and just stood there, almost waist deep in the river, and eyed the body more carefully. As I watched the floating body, I started to get the distinct feeling that it was watching me back. That's when the shoulder blades on the back of the body seemed to perk up. The body suddenly seemed more like the head of a large crocodile than it did a body. As if understanding that its ruse had been discovered and that I wouldn't come any closer, the body suddenly sank beneath the water, and something below the surface started rushing towards my position. I turned and started to bound as quickly as possible back to the shore. But running in waist-deep water makes you feel incredibly slow. It feels even slower when you're being chased. I heard loud splashing and a deep hiss right behind me as I made it to shore. I bolted up the path to the cabin and didn't give a glance back until I was almost halfway there. I saw something as it dashed back into the water. Whatever it was had followed me onto the shore for a bit before finally giving up and heading back to the safety of the river. When I made it back to the porch, I finally took a minute to turn around and watch towards the river and the path that led to it, and there was nothing. Everything was still and eerily quiet. The fog started to roll in thicker, and I soon couldn't even see the path to the river. I turned to go back inside and lock the doors, but just as I started to enter the cabin, I heard it. It sounded like a kid at first, but the voice got stranger and less human each time it cried out. The voice cut through the silence of the misty night like lightning. My chest pounded wildly as my heart raced with fear. I fled hastily into the cabin. I locked every door and window. I packed all my things quickly and then waited. As soon as the sun rose, I barreled to the car and rushed out of there, heading straight home. Over the next month, I searched the news from the area. No kid had gone missing. But a few weeks later, the person who rented the same cabin I had disappeared with no trace. I no longer find nature peaceful. Now, I stay in the city. That was River Mystery. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And click that sub button if you want to join this Freaky Fear family. Don't forget to hit the little bell so you get notified when more weirdness comes out. As always, I'm Fear the GreatWhite.